Iran has just made a move that has shaken Washington, rattled global oil markets, and pushed the world closer to a dangerous decision point. This is no longer about guessing whether a war will happen or not. The real question now is far more alarming. If war breaks out, will the world's oil supply survive it? One narrow stretch of water in the Middle East may decide the fate of the global economy, and that waterway is the Strait of Hormuz. Over the past few days, tensions between Iran, Israel, and the United States have escalated at a rapid pace. The United States has moved its naval forces, including aircraft carriers and advanced warships, dangerously close to Iran's coastline. These are not symbolic deployments. They are positioned within direct striking range. Iran responded not with quiet diplomacy but with an open and unmistakable warning. Tehran declared that if it is attacked from any direction, the response will be historic. That single word sent shockwaves through political circles and financial markets alike, triggering an immediate rise in oil prices. Markets understand something politicians often avoid admitting. Iran does not need to win a war to change the world. It only needs to disrupt it. Oil is the real weapon in this crisis. Iran's threats are not limited to Israel or American military bases. The most powerful leverage Iran holds is the Strait of Hormuz, a vital maritime chokepoint through which nearly 25% of the world's oil supply passes every single day. If this route is blocked, even briefly, oil prices will not simply rise. They will surge uncontrollably. Energy experts have warned for decades that the closure of Hormuz would be one of the most devastating economic shocks in modern history, and today that threat feels more real than ever. Inside the Pentagon, alarm bells are already ringing. Reports and military assessments suggest that in a full-scale conflict, even American aircraft carriers may not be completely safe. Iran has spent years developing supersonic missiles, advanced drones, and sea-scheming weapons designed specifically to challenge U.S. naval dominance. These are not theoretical capabilities. They are part of Iran's core deterrence strategy. Modern wars are not about bold speeches or patriotic slogans. They are about cost, risk, and consequences. Even serious damage to a single U.S. carrier would be a military shock, a political disaster, and a psychological blow felt around the world. At the same time, something unusual is happening on the Israeli side. Israel, known for its direct and aggressive rhetoric, has gone noticeably quiet. There are no loud declarations, no public red lines, and no countdowns to retaliation. This silence is not weakness. It is calculation. Israeli leadership understands that Iran's response would not stop at Israel's borders. It would target American bases across the Middle East, Gulf energy infrastructure, and the shipping routes that keep Europe and Asia running. This would not remain a regional conflict. It would turn into systemic, global chaos. If oil supplies are disrupted, the consequences will be immediate and widespread. Fuel prices will spike, inflation will return with force, and food prices will rise across the globe. Developing countries will suffer first and hardest. For countries like Pakistan, this could mean crippling fuel costs, pressure on currency reserves, electricity shortages, and deeper economic instability. But no nation would be fully protected. A delayed oil tanker in the Gulf can translate into higher fuel prices in London and inflation headlines in New York within days. Despite the rising tension, Iran's strategy appears clear. Tehran does not necessarily want war, but it wants the world to believe that war would be uncontrollable. This is deterrence, built on fear and uncertainty. Iran's message is simple and chilling. If it goes down, it will not go down alone. That is the reality holding Washington back right now. Not moral restraint, not diplomacy, but risk. The risk that one wrong decision could turn a political confrontation into a global economic catastrophe. The world is approaching a decisive moment. Every naval movement, every leaked intelligence report, and every market reaction brings us closer to a crossroads. One path leads to de-escalation and fragile stability. The other leads to an oil shock, global panic, and consequences that will be felt far beyond any battlefield. History rarely remembers who fired the first shot. It remembers who miscalculated. And right now, the margin for error has never been smaller.